Hey guys, Theron Asbury here with Revital Outdoors, bringing you another exciting podcast. Tonight, we're going to go back down to the great state of Florida, where I currently live, and the headquarters to Revital Outdoors. We're going to talk to Mr. Nate Bloom. Nate just got done winning the co-angler side of the BFL Toyota Series event on the Harris Channel Lake. So we're very excited to talk to Nate. He's going to give us a full recap of his event, how he was able to walk away with the victory. Nate is a pro staff angler at Revital Outdoors, so we're very excited about that. And, man, it was just a great weekend for him, and he's going to give us a full recap about the event. And a lot of you have been asking to hear more recaps and see more podcasts from co-anglers, so this is a great opportunity for those anglers out there that have been asking for that. So a lot of great content coming your way. Before we get started, Revital Outdoors is proud to announce we are still featuring our $2,500 giveaway. To enter into that giveaway, all you have to do is hit the link right directly below this video at the top of the description. Just takes a few seconds to enter in, and that winner will be selected at the end of the BFL season. This $2,500 giveaway package consists of products from Flambeau Outdoors, Cigar Line, Costa Del Mar, the Rod Glove, Lew's, Strike King, Tackle Warehouse, of course, Revital Outdoors. This is no giveaway that any angler out there wants to miss, so make sure you hit that link and enter in. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. That's Revital Outdoors. And if you've never heard of Revital Outdoors, we are a premium CBD company. We offer premium CBD products to all the outdoor enthusiasts out there. Our products are THC-free, made right here in America. You can check them out and purchase them directly off our website. That's revitaloutdoors.com. That being said, I'm very excited to bring in my good buddy, Nate Bloom from the great state of Florida. Nate, how you doing this evening, bud?
What's up? How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing good. Well, man, first and foremost, congratulations on your victory this last weekend. I was fortunate enough to be at the weigh-in on Saturday when you took home that victory. It was very close. I think you ended up taking away that victory by less than 6 ounces. You had a penalty in there. It was, we were all just nail-biting to the end, but you were able to walk away with it. You had a solid day 2 and day 3. That's probably what solidified your victory. So, Nate, let's just talk about it. I know you've got a great career in fishing. You started early on in the early 2000s. You won a Bassmaster Open as a co-angler. Then you focused on your work, your career, which you're a very successful salesman. You started a family. We know your son, Joey Bloom. He's been on our podcast before. And then you kind of got back in the swing of things with fishing, did the co-angler thing this year in the Toyota Series, were able to walk away with a victory. We see the trophy in the background. So, man, let's just talk about it. There's a lot to talk about there. Talk about your year and everything you got going for it before we get into the victory this last weekend.
So the year was more driven around Joey, about trying to, kind of have him get to that next level. Last year, he was more focused on the BFLs, trying to get into that. We were fortunate enough to get a couple of contractors to help out with us and give us some money and some sponsorships. So we really appreciate that. But to get into those, I want to guarantee his link. So I just went ahead and said, I still want to fish. He's taking my boat out from underneath me. I love hanging out with everybody and going fishing. I love all the guys, meeting new people, and I love to compete. So I decided, I'm going to go travel. It's only 3 events. It's not, the end of the world, I guess. But it was awesome that I just taking it in a little bit. After this weekend, that he just won on the Harris chain. He just turned 21. We had, had this his picture and the checks and everything put in a matted frame, and it was cool to see that just won in the same year on the Harris chain. So that was kind of special. I didn't really, think about it at the time, but it's been good. I mean, fishing is just fun, man. There's nothing that I don't necessarily like about it. There's a few things that, we all wish could be a little different, but sportsmanship kind of things. But I think nowadays we all can catch, everybody can fish well. It's just getting a little lucky, paying attention, being a little bit more thorough, slowing down, those type of things that kind of keep you in the game, I guess,
Absolutely. And for all the listeners out there, I really want to give the shout out to Nate, because Nate obviously supports his son, Joey. Joey won a BFL tournament this year, the Gator division. on Harris Chain. We've featured him on the podcast. Joey's doing very well for himself. He's still young in his career. He did get his feet wet with the Toyota Series this year. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to qualify for that championship. But I have to say, as someone that represents the fishing industry and Revital Outdoors, he had a solid finish for his age. No one expected him to do as well as he did, and he went out there and accomplished that. He had a lot of factors against him. He, worked against those. But one thing about Nate that I have to point out, many of you listeners out there have heard my testimonial. You've heard my story. Everybody knows about my late father, Randy Asbury, the contractor, the single-parent dad. And unfortunately, we lost him last year to a heart attack. But he always had that size 9 up my rear end throughout my high school days, fishing days, college days. Nate's the same kind of person. Like, he wants to see Joey do well, but it's in a passive-aggressive sense. Like, he has that business mindset for Joey. He wants him to do well, but he can't stray away from what's right and what's wrong. And that's so critical to forming a great career. And, Nate, I know that that's really paid off for you professionally as a family man, and then also as an angler. Like, you're great. You support Joey, and you want all the anglers to do well. But when they start calling boat numbers, you got a look on your eye that just is undeniable.
Yeah, we're ready to fight, man. We're going to war. So, all games aside, I mean, I got a text message from a buddy who said, congratulations. He was in the Bass Open with me at Toho. Leading after day one. It was, a few years back, several years back now. And it's day 2, he ended up coming in first, and I was behind him by a few ounces going into day 3. So he said, man, I'm going to start fishing the next one. So watch out. And I said, he goes, well, the next boat's mine, is that we said in this text. The next boat's mine. And I said, not if I'm fishing, bro. You got your mind, and the gloves are always on when I'm hitting the boat in the water. But yeah, man, I agree, man. It's back it up a little bit for what you said. It sucks that you lost your dad, dude. That's a horrible thing for anybody. And I think about that a lot, of what I think about when I deal with all my kids. I mean, Joey just happens to be a mirrored image of me. I have a size 12, and I like to kick it and, where sun don't shine every once in a while for that kid. But he's identical to me. He's learned all of my behaviors, if you will, and I'm a smart ass, so I get it. I know. Everybody who knows me knows I come off, funny, but yet I do have heart. I have a lot of heart for everybody, and so, it's kids that succeed. I want them to be good. My other son doesn't care about fishing at all, so thank God, because I wouldn't be able to afford anything. My daughter, she's, probably my next, money issue, coming into 13 years old now. But no, I agree with you, man. I mean, when the boat cranks up and we're launching, they call our launch number, man. I'm thinking about how I'm going to put 5 good fish in the boat every time. And it's hard behind these guys. These guys are awesome fishermen, man. And, you can't – I know that some people will come in, and I've been fortunate in a lot of boats where people just don't I got nothing. I'm here in Florida. Like, what do you know? Can you – and, and I get to go, hey, well, there's some stuff right over there. We'll go over there and check it out. But that's not often, and these guys got a lot of money on the line. And that's not saying we're going to do well either. So I like it. I like that whole trying to figure it out behind, just being like, this is all you got. Deal with it. Figure it out,
No, absolutely. Funny story dating back to last year. You and I fished a BFL tournament, both as co-anglers on Lake Toho, of all places. And I remember talking to you before launch. We were both standing there waiting on our boaters that morning at the ramp at Big Toho Marina. I think I was eating a biscuit that morning. You were eating a donut or something. You were chewing on something, and we were all just kind of laughing, cutting up. We met with our boaters. We launched the boats. We get out there fishing. Both of our boaters ended up in the same area that day in the main lake of Lake Toho. And I remember hollering at you and waving and asking, what you got? And you turned around and looked at me and kind of gave me that deuces and turned around and started fishing. I'm like, what is his problem? Maybe he didn't hear me. And then I remember telling my boater, I'm like, man, I hope he's not mad at me. He's like, no, if your attitude's not exactly like that man's, you're never going to do well in this tournament. And then we get back to weigh in, and you and I are drinking a beer, we're cutting up, we're having a good time. And I was like, hey, man, I thought I made you mad. And you're like, dude, during the tournament, don't mess with me. Like, I don't care about you.
Oh, man, we had I just texted Andrew, and we were texting back and forth here today, and I was telling him that looking back at the day, me and him talked and laughed and joked, and he asked me so many questions, and it was cool. It was cool to kind of feel the vibe from, he's a good fisherman. Like I didn't need to, like I asked him or told him a couple of things about like how I fish something, and he's like, no, like he was dead set on how he was doing and how he would do it, and it's like, all right, cool. I like that about him, specifically. So when you're into that zone, like that day 3 was more relaxing. The last like 20 minutes, we pulled up on a spot and I jumped off a 4-pounder. And then at that point, when I jumped that 4-pounder off, I was just like, I bent over, put my hands on my knees, and was like, almost broke your custom rod that you had just made, Joey. So, I was kind of taking deep breaths, and I was like, man, and Andrew goes, dude, that was a 4-pounder, dude, guaranteed. And I was like, couldn't believe it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This is when I needed it. I needed it then. I didn't, and I set the hook as hard as I could, but I was on that spinning rod, and it just like, just peeling, So I thought that was it. I wasn't going to get another bite. Like, we pulled up, I got a bite right away, which is usually a bigger bite, the first one, and then everyone else after that's going to be a little one. So I put my head back on, fixed my bait, chucked it back out there, probably about 5 minutes of about 5 or 6 casts, and I got another bite, and landed a 3-pounder. Cold out a fish that was, it was it. That was the fish that won. I mean, that was it. That was the one that took me over, especially knowing that I had a dead fish. I tongue hooked the fish early, and it just, I just couldn't keep it. I opened the live well, I looked like a murder session, and what happened, it was all red water, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way this fish is living. So, yeah, it was interesting, but it was also relaxing, and I felt sometimes, like you said, I get a little too serious, but, it was interesting how it wasn't as serious the whole day,
Absolutely. Well, talk us through your tournament. I know that you were very bait specific. You told me that you caught about 80% of your fish on one bait, and then 20% of your fish kind of, junk fishing around just as your boaters would move around, fish different areas on the Harris chain. So let's talk about baits a little bit, and how were you able to put together that victory?
So I got my rods here. Grab them outside. So this was the one I did all my work on. So it's a 13 fishing with a 13 fishing reel with 15-pound fluoro Seagar, and I was throwing it on an 8 on peg here. Throwing it on little speed worm, June bug red, 8-ounce peg weight, and that right there, I just threw it out and drug it behind the boat. It's a 7.3. This is I can't see without my glasses on because I'm blind anymore. That's the other fun part about getting older. And 20 years ago when I won the other one, I didn't have to use glasses. Extra fast, medium, heavy power. So a Muse Black. This guy right here is, oh my God, dude. It was awesome. I love that rod. So Evo grips on it were awesome. I love that about it. So that, that was another interesting thing about the Evo grips. Got some good grip on it. And then on day 1, also, so day 1 was really I was able to flip. Everything else was, I guess I flipped around the docks. So that pitched more like pitching around docks, but flipping grass. So I put it on the same thing, but a little heavier weight. Went to a 1/4 ounce weight, and I put it on a Omen Black 711, and with an Inception reel, dude, that right there, that 711, ain't no joke. So flipping, that was
Nate,
one
is
good.
that a heavy action rod or a medium heavy?
This one is a heavy power fast.
Okay. So
It's
heavy
a
action rod.
heavy power fast. So, um, so that was, that was really key because we were fishing probably 5 foot deep Kissimmee grass, in Harris, just kind of pitching the grass edge. And the one thing that I kind of look for is what is my pro doing and how do I fish differently? Because what he's doing and expect, he's flipping one hole and I'm going to flip in the same hole. We're both going to get bites. So I have to always pay attention to where he flips and where I need to flip. So I don't flip in the same spot. I can't do it. So when you're team fishing, you learn that a lot. So me and Joey fish a lot. I fished a lot of friends team fishing. I like to fish somewhere else where they're not throwing. So day one, we fish Harris, fish Kissimmee grass all day. And, in between, there were some docks. It was pretty cool. The guy I drew on day one, Mitch Liss, he and I fished by a boat dock. And we never paid attention to what was on the dock. And we go down probably 20 yards down the grass shore, and then all of a sudden we hear, and this machine fish feeder was on the dock. We never saw it. And it spits out a bunch of pellets, and next thing you know, the fish start blowing up. I'm like, dude, turn around. And he goes, yeah, let's do that. So he spins the boat around, and he gets in there, and he set it up so we both can. He goes, throw wherever, man. So we both start throwing in there. He makes his second cast, and he hooks a good one. And as he's hooked the good one, here comes the camera boat sitting down, pulling up on us. And they're taking pictures of him. He's fighting this fish, and he doesn't have a net out. And I said, do you need to get a net, or what do you want me to do? No, dude, I'll use the net. I'm like, baller, okay, let's do it. So he's like, and he lips this fish, and it's, it's like a 5.5, 6 pounder or something, So that was a pretty good move for him. So that was cool. I was high-fiving him, and giving him some chest bumps. So the camera guys got that on first day, footage. So that was cool to see. But after that, we were throwing. Had another situation where we went through a gap, and the deal was on day one, I really screwed up. So I wasted about a half a day of fishing because when I showed up with my tackle, I knew my tackle. And because I worked all week and I just showed up and fished. So I grabbed my bag and I'm just like, I got stuff in it. Who cares? I get there. Everything is from Santee Cooper. I got nothing that's dark color. I got watermelon. I got and that's it. So I looked and dug through and I couldn't find anything until I found the one bag. I went back in at 11:30 and I found the one bag hidden, buried in there of Zoom speedworms. Put that thing on, I started catching fish. So I caught a 4-pounder probably 30 to 35 minutes after I found those worms, and that was the changer. I ended up with 12 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Day one was fun. I came in, 26th. I was sitting in 26th. Day two, I draw another good dude. Takes me over to Party Cove, over to Banana Cove there. I was, running into the cove. I'm like going, I wonder how frothy this water is. It's been murdered for the last 3 months or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
So he caught an 8.5 pounder in practice in there. So his mind's thinking that there's monsters all in there, which possibly, but they're very difficult catch. So we get in there, and I had that worm on, and I was just like, I'm going to live and die on this thing because I know I can catch some fish on it if I just chill out, So I start throwing that worm around, and I put 3 fish in the boat within an hour. I got 3 in the boat. And he's like, man, that worm's working pretty good for you. I said, yeah, that worm's gonna work for me all day because I'm going to keep and until I get a good limit at least. And so we end up leaving. He doesn't catch anything. We end up leaving. Run all the way into Dora, and we're fishing the shoreline. And I think I picked 1 fish off the shoreline, and then he's got some offshore, a little bit offshore grass, and we kind of come off of that, and he changed up to a spinning rod, and he's put this big Senko on a spinning rod, and I sitting there throwing a worm, doing what I was doing. I decided to pick a spinnerbait up, throw a spinnerbait around, and I set the hook on a giant, dude. I mean, a monster. I got an 80-pound braid, I think, on the spinnerbait just because I didn't have the right rod, so I just tied it on real quick and said, I'm just going to throw it. Who cares? And just dragging it, dude, and it just annihilates it. And it's just bowed me over. I'm on one knee trying to keep it down, and it's peeling. Like, it's just pulling. And it shakes her head and comes off. And I'm like, oh, my God. Never. It was just like, it was so much pressure on that rod. So it comes off. He catches like a 3 or 4 fish on that Senko. And I had 4 fish in the boat. One of them was on its side. And he had helped me put some G-juice in, cool down the water. It got some ice that he had. And I was kind of babying that fish the whole day, which, by the way, if that fish would have died, I would have ended up definitely losing by 1 ounce. So, I thought about that too, It didn't die. It actually made it the whole day, so that was awesome. But it had like something in its stomach that was on its side. Like you could tell the way it was, whatever it ate was weird, and it was on its side weird. So, anyhow, he says, hey, he goes, I got another spinning rod if you want to put the same thing on and try to catch, your 5th fish. And so I was like, nah, I'm just gonna keep throwing this. I'll be fine. I'll get one. No worries.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he gets another bite and he misses it. I was like, where's that rod at? And so he ends up giving me the rod. I rig it up. Later, I catch a 6.9 on that Senko. So that was pretty cool, man. That was cool for him to hook me up, and that was the game changer for that. I ended up with 15 pounds on day 2, put me into the lead. Awesome, excited, couldn't believe it. Everybody out there, I'm sure, was thinking that some co-angler's going to crack some 20-pound bag behind somebody. It usually always happens. Yeah,
it's notorious on the Harris chain.
It could happen. It's just a matter of can they do it multiple days, right?
Right.
So like day 1, they might have caught 3 or 4 pounds behind a guy, caught 2 or 3 fish, and then the next day they drew the right guy and caught 20 pounds, and then they're balanced out. So day 3, obviously drawing Andrew, known Andrew from a few ass whoopings he's given us already on some other local that he's already fished against me and Joey. So awesome to just be in a boat with somebody that was, we knew already. So that was kind of cool. Also, the fact that he was going out, number 1, I'm going out number 1. And he had a little bit of a floatzilla going with his family and dad, mom, friends. Jackson Swisher, came out to root for him. And, he went to work, and he went to work trying to do what he could do. And he didn't realize that there was 2 other of the top 5 guys that were doing exactly the same spots that he was in, and they were just rotating at different times, and he didn't know. So the fish got really worked. Bobby Bakewell was one of them. Austin Back, another one. All local boys that know how to fish, so they know what they were doing. They were catching fish in there. That's the only reason why he kind of struggled a little bit. And then he had three key bites that slapped at his, and he said all week they've been eating it. He didn't have to worry. As soon as he heard a noise on his bait, he set the hook and it would be in their mouth.
Right.
So anyhow, so that's kind of what we did. Caught a limit. I caught probably 20 fish, maybe close to 20 fish. I probably caught I caught a limit with the camera boat, Rob. I caught a limit with them and watching me, like within an hour. So that changed Andrew's mind on what he was going to throw, because he was throwing a spinnerbait, and I threw that, and he's like, God, dog it, you're going to make me throw this stupid worm. He's like, I hate it. And so he picked the worm up, and he caught his best fish of the day on that. He caught one that was about 4 pounds. So that was awesome. We were high-fiving and, netted that fish for him. That was really cool to see. And at the end of the day, we ran back into Harris, fished a little brush pile that he had. He hadn't fished it, and like I said, missed that 4-pounder, caught that 3-pounder. He caught a 3-pounder that bumped him up that cold for sure. So that was it. We ran in, and one of the things that really was interesting too, when I was getting ready to go on stage, I'd have my fish sitting there, and the guy who's counting the fish and checking them in the tank, he had them all in the water. He's waiting for Mark to give him the thumbs up to come on, bring Nate Bloom up, and he gives him the thumbs up to go, okay, bring him up, and he dumps all my fish out, and they're jumping around, and then he puts them in the bag, and I get ready to go, and he says, hold on, they had some type of issue with the scale or something going on with the weight that was just inputted or whatever. So about a minute goes by, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm losing water weight. Like, I'm just like, oh, I'm losing ounces. And I just knew that it was going to be close. Like, I was doing the math. I mean, I heard that he had what he had, I was like 37. That means I have to have 10 something. And I'm just like doing the math. I'm going, man, when I pulled them out, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if they're really that big. So got up there, and, thankfully, sucks for that kid. I heard the stories after. I know he's Brent Chapman's son, who came in second. I guess he had to come in second twice this week. He came in second at Okeechobee, and I think he had lost by an ounce, is what I heard. And then, I ended up pulling it off, beating him by 3 ounces. So my dead fish penalty brought me down to 10-13, and I needed 10-10 to take it. So I know feeling, as far as just, being beat out by a few ounces, but at the same time, man, if I lost by an ounce, I'd be like, yo, man, I can't. I do it just because I wanted to try to win another boat. That was always in the back pocket for me. I was like, man, I want to try to win another one. So that's where it's at.
Absolutely. Well, Nate, I know you got a lot of great support here in the Central Florida region. You support your son, Joey Bloom. And anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or a thank you? Obviously, you walked away with the victory of this event. This is the final tournament for the BFL Toyota Series Southern Division. So I know you got a lot of great support. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or a thank you before we let you go?
Yeah. So definitely, I guess my wife probably first and foremost before I ruin that deal. The wife allows Joey and I a lot of leeway going out, and you don't, I got a couple of kids, and, I got obligations here, and I got work and those type of things. But she kind of keeps the household and the home front under the right program to keep us so we can do what we love to do. And she wants to see Joey do well. So I'm fortunate with her being at my side and by my back. So I want to thank her. I want to thank all the people that, that had come out and, cheer me on, all the text messages, all the phone calls, all the people showing me love. That's awesome. I want to obviously thank my boaters. They're, all 3 boaters were awesome. Mitch, Casey, and Andrew. I appreciate all that they did for me each and every day. They were great, great competitors. They worked hard each and every day, and I think Mitch even came in. I think he came in like 13th or something. So he had a good finish, made some money. He didn't think he was really on anything, so it was good to see that he made a nice check. Thank our sponsors that that help support Joey. Supporting Joey is a huge help to me. I've been footing this bill for many a moons, man. So it took me I think I did the math. It was like $2.6 million to win a $33,000 boat. In the last 20 years, that's how much I've invested in this program. So, so I want to thank 13 Fishing. They've been awesome. So if y'all are looking for some great tackle, not only did they have great rods, reels, they have great tackle. Some of their hard baits, their jerk baits. Andrew caught a lot of his fish on jerk baits in practice. Told me a lot about that, which was awesome, and how he did that, what he was focusing on. So it was good to kind of share some ideas there. The Reed's Gun Shop, they stepped up and helped out Joey this year, helped him pay for some of the events. So I can't thank them enough for doing that, to give him an opportunity. and be a part of, our program and what we're trying to accomplish. The Team Lawrence, one of the things I have to say, as far as a cone, all three boaters all ran Lawrence's. The active target on most of them. I don't know about the first boat. I don't think he had active target. But one of the things that was awesome about this week, too, was when I wasn't flipping, flipping was just obvious. I'm pitching in the grass, and that's it. But when I wasn't, and I was offshore, I was around something different. They left the graphs on, and I could see what was going on. So it gave me an opportunity to cast. And if I was paying attention to where I was, what depth I was in, I always kept my eye on what was going on so I could possibly get another bite. Maybe I didn't, maybe I did. Always kept my eyes open for that. And the Lawrence units, have been awesome for Joey and I. We run a couple 16s in active targeting. So I can't say enough about Lawrence. They're doing great things for us and Joey, so I appreciate them. Dakota Lithium batteries, they stepped up, man. They hooked us up, powered our whole boat. So we're running all of our power on Dakota Lithium, 12-volt, 100-amp-hour batteries. They're awesome. That's it, man. Those are the main key players that we're trying to support. I think Joey's going to be working the booth at ICAST this year with 13 and with some of the other players. So, if you're at ICAST, go check him out. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be there. Might have a family trip to deal with. So I'm kind of debating on if I'm going to drive to Naples and drive back and be there. But Revital Outdoors is the other one. Obviously we're Team Revital. Everybody, I'm not going to lie. I use the gummies. I use the gel caps. When I'm out there, getting up at 3 a.m. and running around. There you go. Gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah. Just all the long days in fishing, casting, chucking, winding my back. Within about the last year and a half, I've been getting these really bad back spasms in between my shoulder blades. So I spend a lot of time on the boat. Like I'll cast a worm out and I'll have to let it stretch my back and sitting there doing all this stuff. And, I get it, man. I'm getting older. I'm getting, I want to get back into shape. So that's one of the things I took away from this weekend is I getting on the cycle again, riding hard since Sunday. I've been on the cycle. I've been doing that every night. I've been eating a lot better. I've lost 5 pounds since Saturday. So I'm just trying to go down. Dude. I can't keep it like this. My body can't take it. So it's been awesome. It's been a big help. I hate meds. I'm not a Tylenol. I'm not an ibuprofen. I can't, I feel like this is a safe, a better opportunity to take something to help you with, relieve some of that. And if you're interested in doing it, I've talked to 4 of my friends. We were kids, and they've gotten on that program with me, and they absolutely all skateboarders, man. All my skater friends that I grew up with, man, their knees, their shot, their back, and they'd get out here and give you a testimony in a heartbeat because it's just a good product, and I can't say enough good things about it. So thanks to Revital. Do appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. So, well, Nate, again, congratulations on your victory this last weekend. It's really awesome to see you walk away as the co-angler champion of the MLF Toyota Series on Harris Channel Lakes. So, good luck to you throughout the rest of the season. I know you're fixing to go to that championship on Lake Gunnersville, so we'll be rooting you on there. And, man, just awesome to have you back on the podcast and talk about your victory. Before we let everybody go, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out Nate Bloom on social media. That's Facebook and Instagram. He's got a great social media following as well. And then his son, Joey Bloom, who's trying to make it to the pro circuit. He had a very solid year on the Toyota Series, and he'll be back next year, and a lot of great things coming from him. Both of them are representatives of Revital Outdoors, so we're very happy to have them on the pro staff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Also, you've been watching the rotating banner below. Hit that link at the top of the description right below this video. Enter into that $2,500 giveaway. I promise you no angler out there is going to want to miss this. We have great partners involved, as we mentioned earlier in the podcast. So thank you to everyone for tuning into this podcast. Nate, good luck for the rest of the season. Good luck to Joey as well. Thank you for joining us. Everyone, be safe out there. God bless. We'll talk to everyone very, very soon.
Thanks, man. Thanks, everybody.